So it's a wintry January day, and I've just made my way up to one of our investment areas to have a look at our latest project. We haven't completed on it yet. We're aiming to do that on the 28th of this month, 28th of January. But right now we're here to take a walk round, see if there's anything we can do in advance of completion to make sure that we can start work on this as soon as possible. So I've actually had to walk quite far away so I could fit the whole building in the shot. But if I just turn the camera around, so it is this entire building here, including this bit here. So all of this round here, and then this small building here, not what's behind it, just this bit here. There's a car park there, and then I'll take you down there in a second. But in that little big archway there is it's an open area that will be used for bike storage and bin storage, things like that. So it's a listed building. We've got listed building consent and planning approval to change this from offices into a mixture of 1 and 2 bed apartments. There'll be 14 of them in total. We've obviously got to take into account what English Heritage have said. So in terms of the listing, we're restricted on what we can do. So for example, all these windows at the front, they are currently single glazed, and we wouldn't be able to put double glazing in them. We would need to restore what is there currently. So they're all single glazed sash windows, which, as you will probably know, aren't great for keeping the heat in, but provided they're refurbished to a good standard, then they will still do a semi-decent job. So I'll just show you this area around here. It's a bit dark, so you might not be able to make it out, but this will be used, as I said, for bike storage and bin storage. Just behind this gate here, there's it's a big courtyard that goes around there and to the side. I'll show you on the floor plans in a second exactly what that looks like. And we'll also have probably have some post boxes mounted in here. As I said, it's quite limited what we can do, changing the outside of the building. So for example, we couldn't inset post boxes here. So if I just take you in, I'll take you straight to the floor plans, which I've just got through here. Show you the rough layout of what we're going to do with the building. Because of the nature of this, so this is actually split over 2 separate buildings. So we've just walked in the front door here. This is one building. This is a separate building here. This is the one which has more of an interest from a listing point of view, from English Heritage's point of view. So we're more limited with what we can do with this one. This one was built around, we think, about 1850. So it's a Georgian property. Lots of history behind it. This one was built more recently. I don't know the exact date, but it's a bit better thermally insulated. There is double glazing across the back, so that is good. This would be easier to reconfigure if needs be. So as I said, we've come in through here. At the moment, it's all been office space, so we'll be dividing that, as you can see, with different colours to note different flats. This is upper ground floor level. This is basement level because it's on a bit of a slope. Coming in the front door, you'd go up these steps, come up to the next floor here. Very similar layout in general. It's the same footprint all the way up. So again, we've got 4 flats here, 5th flat there in the second building. They're currently linked on the first floor of this building, so you can currently get between these two, but we would be blocking that up because the access into the rear building on George Street would be on the ground floor through here, and then in the stairs there. So you can then access this one. We'll go up the stairs to this one, and then up again to this one. So it's pretty similar across these two. This is slightly different, just because we can't, there's nothing here, whereas we've got the extra space for flats up there. There's also a pretty big basement that's under most of this, which we are currently discussing exactly what to do with it, but Because we're going to be finishing this in a fairly premium way, the idea would be to use the basement for things like communal working, for storage. For example, this unit here is a 1-bed. If a couple shared that and both of them work from home, it'd be nice for one of them to go elsewhere downstairs into the basement to work separately. So what I'm going to do, I'll take you, so we're currently standing here, so I'll take you around here down the stairs, show you quickly the basement, come back up to the next floor, and then I'll show you a bit around here and then into the rear unit. I'm not going to show you the whole thing because that would take quite a long time. So benefits of having something like this is we can have the plant room down here, so where all the services come into the building. We've got lots of space, so this is where some of it comes in at the moment. So you can see the gas there, and some of the heating equipment for the building currently. We'd obviously be upgrading that, but we will probably take the gas out and only have electric heating throughout the building, as that's the way things go, and gas will tend to be phased out over the coming kind of 10, 20 years. This used to be a storage room, so we've got all this racking that shifts up and down, but this is a really good area to convert into some co-working space, for example. We've got, so, you know, it's possible to get natural light down into here. There's some old windows that we can open up to let light in. It's mostly underground, so it wouldn't be a huge amount, but still better than nothing. But this room could fill with desks, and just have it as a really good place away from the apartments to come and work. We're also discussing possibly putting a room to be used as a gym. So maybe a mirror on the wall with some mats on the ground. But it's all because we're planning on selling these ultimately, is to make it more saleable. This was originally on the market for $1 million. We have actually managed to agree a purchase, thanks to our joint venture partners, at 400,000, so quite a significant discount. And it's partly because it's been on the market for a long time and the vendor needs to sell it ASAP. The purchase costs about 100,000, and then the build cost about 800,000, and then we're aiming to sell it for about 1.9 million. So sell all the flats on newly created leases, and if we can sell a freehold, we'll do that. It's not as attractive anymore just because of the coming changes in leaseholds. So this, you'll be able to see that's the building on the rear. So there's George Street, that side. This is the newer building, which has less onerous conditions when it comes from the listed conditions point of view. So this is the threshold between the old and new. As I said, we'll be blocking this off, so that will be a flat, and then this will be a separate flat. So really big open space. This will be an entire flat. It'll be a 1-bed flat. If you wanted to focus on the camera, no, okay. So there will be rooms along here with this bit as the living room kitchen. So bedroom, possibly add an ensuite behind that wall, and then bathroom for the flat, and then another bedroom, and then there's a bit an L-shape living room kitchen here. This is the secondary stairwell for the rear unit. I can show you the little courtyard. It's not great condition right now, but so it's good that there's a ramp up here to this building. That door is wide enough for disabled access. We've got this area here, so the roller shutter is there, and then that goes out, that way to the iron gates at the front. But all this area here, we want to make it as communal as possible to encourage people to socialise and to give them, again, somewhere in the summer they could hang out outside. And same layout as before, as downstairs. So nice, huge space, lots of windows round. Double glazing on the back, which we'll have to replace because it looks like it's blown. So double glazing, there's 2 panes with a vacuum in the middle. And when that vacuum goes, it massively decreases the thermal capacity of that window. So we're here today with the builder and the architect. Architect's going round just to review the building, taking into account the conditions put on the planning so the listed building conditions. So when we put planning in, it didn't have every single detail, but that's kind of what to be expected. Planning have come back and said, you need to do these things before you start construction, these things before you let anyone live in the building. And same with listing building consent. There's certain conditions we have to fulfill before we can start construction. Some of that's providing detail of what we're going to do in certain areas. And some of them is to do with construction methods, things like that. So they need to prove that before we actually start works. And that's what the architect is here today doing. We're also looking at potential changes we can make that don't require planning permission. So things that aren't considered as a material change. So we're working with our project manager, Steve. He'll be looking at things like that in a lot of detail. He's very good at things like that. And just making sure that we use every single square centimetre of the building to make sure we make the most of the space we've got. Because there's a lot of space here, and it can sometimes be just very simple tweaks to the design which make things flow a lot better, make people, when they walk in and they're considering whether or not to buy it, it makes sense. It makes sense to kind of walk that way instead of that way. So very important things like that. There's going to be, it'll probably take about 18 months to finish this and market it. If for any reason we can't sell the flats straight away, our second exit is to refinance and to let them out. And the deal still works for us on that basis. So keep your eyes out for updates over the next year or so. We'll document it closely. It's the biggest project we've done to date, but we plan to keep growing, keep doing big projects, and it keeps us busy and excited. I'm very excited to come and have a look around this today, and very cold because the heating is not on and it's freezing in here. If anyone watching this has any questions, wants to know what actually goes on behind the scenes, give me a shout. Share the video, subscribe. I will see you on the next one. Thanks.